So, Jordan, obviously getting ready for fall camp. I know this just came around CJ fight. There's no offseason, but how'd the offseason go for you?
It's been a great offseason. Honestly, I feel like my best offseason. Honestly, I feel like I'm moving my best. I've gotten stronger, gotten bigger, gotten faster. Overall, just been kind of locked in all offseason. I've been watching a lot of film, so I feel like a very good, just well-rounded offseason.
Speaking of film, obviously talking to Keyshawn, the linebacker, for me, so much growth last year. One thing with Coach Crook, yeah, you guys were paired with somebody, but if you had a mix and match, it's like you guys didn't skip a beat. At what point in the season last year did you feel that, no matter who you're out there with, you guys can definitely get the job done? And it's kind of almost like nonverbal communication with who's ever out there.
I feel like Utah was just kind of a big game, just kind of for not even just like our position group, just for everybody. I think that was like it kind of, I feel like it said a lot about our defense in a way. And, just the ability to come out there and be able to play with, not just, Keyshawn, but go out there and play with Cyrus, play with Caleb. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just shows the hard work that we put in throughout the week and, the versatility too.
You're an energy guy.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody says you're the energy guy. Where does that come from?
That's just passion. That's just passion for the game. Honestly, I feel like, that's where all my energy come from. I wake up, this is something I love to do, so, I always carry that passion with me. That's been there. That just didn't start happening. That's been there my whole life. I got teammates from years back probably tell you the same thing. I was the energy guy, so, I think that's just something I carry with me.
Can you speak?
How does it feel to kind of come into the season healthy? Because you had the leg thing last year, so you're right from the get-go, you're there.
Yeah, that kind of took me. Honestly, it happened so fast. Like I didn't even know. Like it happened so quick. But I'm definitely taking advantage of that this offseason. And I think it's really going into it with a different approach. Missing them 3 games, like. I think that kind of hurt me a lot for real. So just being able to have that opportunity again to come out here, first game and just start off the right way, and God willing, no injuries or anything like that. So I'm excited for it.
Is the field different this year to be that you have the target on you guys' back now, and you're not coming off a 3-9 season? Is there a different feel?
I wouldn't call it a different feel, but just having an understanding that. I feel like we're gonna get everybody's best game. Not whereas last year, I would say kind of we were sneaking up on people in a way because I feel like the respect wasn't there. But this year is I feel like it's there, and like I said, we're gonna get everybody's best game. That's just something we got to be prepared for.
Was there a moment last week where you felt, this is going to be something special? Was there a game?
I want to say BYU game. I feel like that was a big game for us just because, just the willingness. I think, from the ups and downs in the game, just seeing it, and just how it played out. I think just, when the clock hits 0, just the understanding that, we really going to play to the last, last play, to the clock hits 0. I think we showed that we're going to give everything we got, you know what I'm saying? I think that was a statement game, honestly.
Can you speak more to, you mentioned this being the best offseason you've ever had. Okay, what did you mean by that? And also, have you done anything differently this offseason than past years to kind of get yourself prepared for this upcoming season?
I wouldn't necessarily just say I was doing anything different, but just taking a more in-depth approach on certain things, more film study, just better eating habits, things like that. But as far as the work goes, I feel like that never, I don't think that ever changes with me. But like I said, the things outside of that, just diving deeper more into film earlier, and just understanding my body more and that side of things too. So like I said, those things were really, I feel like where I gained this offseason, whereas in the past, I wasn't aware of, certain things.
What do you think was the biggest thing you really wanted to harp on for yourself this offseason as an individual improvement standpoint?
Really just like I said, being year 2 in this defense, I would say just whereas last year, I said a couple months back, it was we was like figuring out what we were doing and what the other team was doing, you know. Whereas now, you know, it's a very clear understanding of what, you know, what we're running and things like this. So this offseason, I'm working on, you know, what am I getting from the teams? We're getting, like, you know what I'm saying, just different concepts and things like that.
And when you okay, so looking at, like you said, teams maybe not disrespecting Coach Dillingham or kind of overlooking you guys coming off 3-9, but Coach Dillingham's kind of talked about, like, yeah, you know, people think there's expectations, but I mean, for you guys as a team, you said the group, and I mean, you made that message clear to the coaches that you're still hunting too. So I guess what's kind of like, you know, I guess the fun and the challenge in that, knowing, like you said, I mean, yeah, there's a target on your back now, but you guys are still hunting. You're not satisfied.
Yeah, nah. I think like the way that we ended, like people, you know, felt like, you know, in the sense that like we were happy in a way, but like, you know, I really feel like deep down, like there's a lot of people that, you know, were very unhappy with how we ended the season, and I think it's a thought, you know, like obviously everybody want to get back to that point, and I feel like everybody still got that game in the back of their minds, you know, in a way, and you know, everybody's using that as hunger, you know, as a chip on their shoulder, and I mean, just just another source of fuel for this season. So I feel like it's definitely something we just got to capitalize off of.
Well, speaking of fuel too, I mean, obviously the EA Sports cover, you know, has been out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Coach and Sam on it. So is there a nice little trash talking, fun banter like that?
Oh yeah,
Do they feel pressure to be the best? Because I think it's something you guys can take a run at it, right?
Oh yeah, it's the game's been fun, man. Honestly, it's been cool. I mean, I've been playing with a couple of my teammates here. It's been fun. I mean, just the atmosphere, you know, just to see, you know, just how they, you know, kind of went more in depth this year. You know, I can tell EA really took their time, you know what I'm saying, you know, on our team and things like that. So it was definitely great to see that.
Anything you're excited?
How's the new vehicle?
Oh no, it's definitely cool. It's been fun. I mean, I've been doing some things to it, but it's been a great experience. You know what I'm saying? I want to say thank you again, but it's been great. It's been treating me well.
Anything you're excited for when it comes to Camp T in a couple of weeks, and you're excited to kind of go back up there and see it all and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, nah, definitely Camp T. Like you said, I mean, it's gonna be hot outside every day at camp, so you know we get the chance to go to Camp T. You know, it'll be a little cooler, so that'll definitely be a you know, benefit. But it's fun to get up there, you know, with my guys, and you know, those few days. And, you know, it's little to no Wi-Fi, so we just up there playing ball and you know enjoying each other's company. So I think that's big for us.
You've had a long season. You didn't go until January. Did you do anything different during the off season to kind of make up for the fact that you have a longer season and give your body a break?
I would say like I feel like we had the same breaks that everybody else had, but I wouldn't say we, you know, did anything necessarily different this off season. If anything, I feel like we went up a notch, you know, cut it up a notch. You know what I'm saying? Just because we know we got at stake. So I mean, I would definitely feel like, you know, if anything, we just kind of, you know, just kept our head down and cut it up a notch this off season and just work hard.